Hi, everyone. Welcome to Something New. This is a way for you to learn a little bit more about what we're going to be studying. And yes, as everyone can see, it's part of our smartboard. What you are looking at is a copy of the smartboard screen that you're used to seeing, but in the lower right corner, and you can see me pointing over here, you can tell that I am recording, which is letting you see information that I want you to see and hear me explain it a little bit more in depth than we can in class. So what you're going to notice is I'm going to use all of the smartboard features that we're used to while we learn about different topics. Today's topic is going to be about the geography of China. So welcome to something new. We are going to begin our study of ancient China. And before we begin our study of ancient China, we need to know a little bit about where it's located and the land and the geography of it. So let's take a look at the map on this slide. And can you pick out where is China? Well, if you said that China is located on the continent of Asia, you are correct. And it is a very large part of the Asian continent. And what we're going to be realizing is that there are several natural land features that are very prominent in China. The three that we are really going to be speaking about are its coastline, its desert, and its mountains. But before we go into each one of those, I want you to realize that China is a very large country. And my question for you today is, did you know that China is the third largest country in the world? It is. And to give you some idea of how large it is or how small it is, depending on how you look at it, China is slightly smaller than the United States and is 3,705,406 square miles. It's huge. Now, the interesting thing about China and the fact that it has a very large coastline, deserts, and mountains, because it is such a large area, is that these three types of land features gave the ancient Chinese people natural barriers to protect them from the outside world. People could not get to them easily, and they did not leave easily either. So let's take a look at each of the land features that are found in China. The first one that we're going to be looking at is its coastline. And you can see that it is a very large place. And believe it or not, the coastline of China is approximately 18,000 kilometers long or 11,184 miles long. It's huge, which means that parts of the coastline will freeze in the winter seasons, while others are still warm and tropical in the tropical climate. So you have a vast area and a lot of different climate changes. Let's take a look at the mountains in China. Now, I'm going to say that the people of China were protected by the Himalayan mountains. And as you can see here on this physical map of China, where they are located. Now, I know some of you who know a little bit about geography are going to say, Miss Malinowski, the Himalayan mountains are not part of China. They're in a different country. And you would be correct. But 5,000 years ago, the Himalayan mountains were. So no, the Himalayan mountains are not considered part of China today, but in ancient times, these mountains were part of China, and it did protect it from invasion. Let's move on to the deserts. Oh, the deserts, you're going to love this. We have two different deserts to talk about in China. We have the Gobi Desert, and we have the Taklamakan Desert. Now, I have some fun facts about each of these deserts. First, the Gobi Desert is one of the driest deserts in the world, and unfortunately, if you find yourself there, it is one of the finding water is very difficult, so make sure you have enough. Also, the Taklamakan Desert is the second largest desert in the world. We've already talked about the first in ancient Egypt. Do you remember what that was called? I'm going to let you put the answer right here. Now, an interesting fact about the Taklamakan Desert is it has a very unique nickname because it is known as as the Sea of Death because in this desert you are going to find poisonous snakes, frequent sandstorms, boiling hot days, freezing cold nights, and intense water shortages. So this is not a climate or a place to visit unless you are properly ready. Now, those were the three natural barriers of China. But another main piece of information that we need to know about the geography of China is its river system. And the two main rivers that we're going to be talking about are the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. Now, the Yangtze River, which is the one that is located on the bottom, is also known as the Long River, and it is the third longest river in the world, and it is about 4,000 miles long, and it floods every year, which we've learned provides fertile soil along its banks. And the banks of the Yangtze are very interesting because they're very high, which keeps the homes safe from the annual flooding, so the people can live there along its shores with some protection. The same cannot be said for the second major river, which is the Honghe River or the Yellow River. Now, this is another long river, about 3,000 miles long, and it also floods every year. But the banks along the Honghe River are low, and the people who lived near this river had to rebuild their homes every year because of flooding. And the Yellow River is very important because this is where civilization in ancient China began about 5,000 years ago. Now, this was a very short presentation, and as we get used to making these and as you get used to working with them, we're going to be doing more and more of them, and they'll be getting a little longer. But my question for you today is, can you answer these questions? What are the three natural barriers located in China? And what did the natural barriers do for the people of ancient China? Thank you.